Hi, everybody. AP Goodman here. Happy 2024. This is our first weekend of the new year, and I'm super excited to welcome author Emma Reilly. Emma, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. So, you are actually the only author so far that I reached out to join the show, and I just had to because I absolutely fell in love with your book last year. So for those of you who don't know, when did it release? Was it 2023, the first one?
It was March of 2023, yes.
Yeah, so Haunted Hearts came out in March of 2023. If you haven't read it, I strongly recommend it. It was my favorite book of 2023. I absolutely fell in love with it. But gift for all of us readers, you came out with a second book that same year, right?
Yep, same year. I managed to start working on that as my editor was doing Haunted Hearts. So I was very excited. Couldn't wait to get into the next story, which picks up on Alan Sack and his Georgiana, who got mentioned in the first book. So I couldn't wait to continue with their story.
That's awesome. And so you kind of write, in my mind, it's like paranormal romance. Would you classify it the same way, or?
Absolutely. And I'm kind of doing a different twist on things because I like putting in not just ghosts, but something spiritual, something that uplifts and something that plays on human abilities too. So sometimes my characters will have a gift of something that allows them the ability to see things a little bit differently and gives us a little sense of magic in our own world.
And I think that all came across certainly in book one. I haven't had the privilege yet of book two, but I think I know book one by heart. So, how did you come up with this idea? Because Haunted Hearts was also your first book. Is that right?
Yes, that was my first one. I mean, I've been writing since high school, but this is the first one that I finished and decided I was putting it out there. I was going to publish it. Whether anybody read it or not, it was for me. And I wanted to just try and just do it. Why not? I mean, life keeps going by so fast. Why are we holding back and not sharing our gift with the world?
I think that that's a beautiful sentiment. And I hope if there's anyone that's watching this that's feeling the same way, they take their step too. Because who knows? Someone you don't know might end up falling in love with your book, like I certainly did. Yeah, right? So,
that's so cool.
I know I'm going to make sure I don't give away spoilers. So I'm going to have to, watch what I say because I get really talkative when I get excited. But there's a lot of Sleepy Hollow, New York in book one, right? Like, that is a very prominent part of the story. I wouldn't say it's a Sleepy Hollow retelling, but it's definitely a key component of the setting. Mm-hmm. So what made you decide to bring that to life? Because it's beautifully written, and some of the events that I think that you've written about are actual events that they host throughout that season.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love the area. I thought it was such a beautiful and unique story, so full of so many ghost stories as it is. That place has so many wonderful things that an author can just pick and choose, like, oh, there's a ghost story here. Oh, there's this on the river. Oh, there's this in the woods. There's so many things to play off of, and when you're writing fiction, you can really just go in your own direction. And I always wanted to retell something of a different twist with the Headless Horseman. I didn't want it to always be horror, but I wanted to play off of what if, and maybe there's something else that could be going on there that nobody knew about. There's so many ghost stories, but ghost stories are great because we don't always know what's behind them, and the mystery of that is what I like to play with.
Yeah, that the Lantern Festival, I forget the exact name, but the festival where they're walking down the streets and there's so many beautifully carved jack-o'-lanterns and lanterns. I feel like I've seen that on various social media memes or Halloween things. It's such an iconic depiction and just so gorgeous.
It was amazing. Me and my son went this fall, and I got to see it firsthand for myself. It's called the Great Jack-O'-Lantern Blaze, and it is so worth going. The people there were so nice. I got to tell you, I wasn't expecting them to be so incredibly friendly and just so, I mean, it was just a great time seeing all the work. Volunteers do all these pumpkins, and I had to write about it because I had to draw attention to it. It's something that actually goes on there. You can go there, you can visit it, and you can stay in the very hotel that my character stayed in. We stayed at the Sleepy Hollow Hotel. It's in my book, it was called the Doubletree because they did change their name. So seeing the hotel that my characters stayed in was awesome. I got to eat in the restaurant where Angie and Celia sit, and it was like, I'm here where my characters were. This was so much fun. It was great. And then to see the pool that she was swimming in, I loved it. It's so much fun to do something like that. And when to have a story that you can read and then go there and live it out yourself, what could be better? You know, it's just fun all around.
I love that. What an immersive experience, right? Like, how cool. And it sounds like you went and visited after you even wrote it. So, like, it was, you get the benefit of an author that a reader could get, too, right? We don't get to share that side of things very often.
Right.
But that's really cool that you were able to see that. Oh,
right. Well,
yeah, I have never. Oh, go ahead.
When I was writing it, my son was very young, and I didn't have the ability to get over there. So I did a lot of like Google searches and watched, everything online with the parades and the pumpkin blaze to get the feel of being there before I could actually go there myself. So going there was such a wonderful experience. Wrapping it all up like I'm finally here, and my son got to see it too, and he loved it.
That's so cool. I've never been to New York. I've never made it up that way. I lived in Delaware for a bit, so I was close. I was on the East Coast, but Sleepy Hollow and Salem, Massachusetts, I feel like those two locations are just so iconic for paranormal fiction and ghost stories and all things good and spooky. They have so much culture and lore just in a single town.
Absolutely. I've been to Salem like 4 times. I went to the balls there at the Hawthorne Hotel. What an incredible experience that was. I mean, at Halloween time, people are in full costume. You can't help but be inspired to write stories. I mean, just that area up there, whether it's Massachusetts or New York, it's all so historic, and I love historic areas. So that's where I tend to be drawn towards with my writing, anything historic where I can play off of the past.
I totally get that. So then book 2, is that, my memory is telling me it's New Orleans, but maybe I made that up. Oh, yeah, okay, good. I'm glad I didn't make that up.
Yeah.
So we're going away from the East Coast then in book 2, it sounds like.
Right. In book 1, Alan Sack talks about he has just acquired a haunted antebellum mansion down in New Orleans, and he's trying to figure it out, and he was kind of asking Angie for some help. Maybe she, being psychic, could help him figure out these ghost problems. So he was already perfectly set up for a story of his own, and I couldn't help but take advantage of it. And I've always wanted to do New Orleans. Always wanted to do something spooky but romantic, and it just was so easy to pick up on that Georgiana and the portrait of her hanging over the fireplace. And it's like he saw in Angie, maybe she could be this Georgiana, but that wasn't it.
Yeah, and talk about another town that has its own set of lore and culture in and of itself, right?
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah, I feel like I have been to New Orleans, and there's so much there, and I don't know, it's really cool to step into a place that just has its own energy almost. I mean, you're in the South, but you're in the middle of these swamps, and yet here are these gorgeous buildings and so much culture and food and music, and like it's so alive, and it's so different than its surroundings.
Yep, and that's another one of my big dreams to take a trip to. So most likely, again, after the story, but I write about the places I want to go. I have to see them.
I love that. I think that's such, I don't know, that's such a heartfelt sentiment, I feel like, because as an author, right, you're always putting a little bit of yourself in your books, no matter what you write or where you write. But when you include your own dreams as a part of, the character's history or maybe their own dreams, I think it's a really cool way to relate to your readers and to give a little bit of insight of who you are, too.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So do you have any upcoming, I know you did 2 books in 2023, you're so busy, But do you have any upcoming like projects or events or anything like that that you'd like to share with people? Promotions, anything?
No promotions at the time. Right now I'm working on doing book signings and stuff like that, getting tables around town where I live. I'm in South Jersey. So just doing the local thing, doing the libraries and stuff like that. I just did a flea market, got a lot of attention there. That was great. It was fun. It was, I mean, you got to start small, but every little bit counts, and I made 9 sales, so I was extremely happy with that. It's just where you begin, and for me, it's about the love of writing more than anything else, and just pouring myself into the story that I'm trying to create. And right now I'm writing a new one. It has nothing to do with any of those two books that are out now, and totally new characters, and it's going to be based on a haunted amusement park. And I've always wanted to do a haunted, abandoned amusement park. And there are 2 places that really inspired this. One is near me. It's called, what is it? Well, there's one called Storybook Land that's near me. I grew up with, and it's all kind of fairy tales and stuff that you can walk through, rides and stuff like that. Adorable amusement park. But I didn't know that they had one very similar to it, very similar structure and layout in Oregon called The Land of Enchantment. And this was on TV. It was on one of the Ghost Hunter shows, and there's a haunted house in the middle of it that's actually haunted. It's supposed to be like a little haunted walkthrough where kids can go through, nothing too spooky over the top, but I couldn't help but fall in love with it. I'm like, you know what? This would be the perfect setting for a story, because what is the story behind the ghosts that are in this actual house? It's the only thing in the place that looks out of place because it looks like a real house, not a haunted house. It looks like something you might find in your own street. Adorable, quaint, and I'm like, well, there's a story there. What could I come up with? And I've had this beautiful story just easily came to me, and I'm in the middle of just starting it right now, and I love the characters. I can't wait to get this one done, so hopefully this will be out in 2024.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I love the abandoned amusement park trope. My kiddo is really into I guess it's a cartoon. I think it's a book too, but there's a show out there called Dead End, and it's similar haunted amusement park vibes, and it's so fun, but it's definitely geared toward my child's age and not mine. So, I'm so excited. I can't wait to read what's next and check it out. So for those who haven't read your book and need to go buy either of them right now because they're absolutely amazing and wonderful and fantastic, where can they find them or more information about you? What's the best place to find you online?
Online, I am on Facebook under author Emma Reilly. I also do have a blog called snowwhitequeen.blog. Both of the books are available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you so incredibly much for being with me today. Like I said, you are the first author that I reached out to and the only one so far because I am completely obsessed with Haunted Hearts. I think it was one of the best stories, certainly one of the best paranormal romances I've ever read, but by far the best book of 2023 that I read. And it's so such a delight. It's just such a delight. So
I'm so glad you liked
it.
Yeah. Thank you for reading it.
Yeah. All right, everybody. That wraps up our segment for today. Happy 2024. Welcome to the new year. I hope that it's starting out great for you. It started out great for me as I got to meet Emma Reilly today, and I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.